Come closer and listen. We are about to open a story written not in ink, but in starlight and shadow. This is the chronicle of existence itself, a grand tale told in 3 powerful acts.
Well, you know what? You are. Every single point of light, every silent, dark space between them, it's a word in a grand cosmic narrative. It's the story of how everything came from nothing. And tonight we're going to read its very first chapter together.
So, our chronicle begins where all great stories must, at the absolute beginning. Welcome to Act 1, the dream of the creator. Here we're going to wrestle with that first huge question. Who, or maybe what, lit the fuse that started it all?
In the oldest of stories, we're told that creation wasn't some loud, violent explosion. No, it was a quiet, conscious act, a thought. In the Hindu chronicles, for instance, the great god Brahma simply dreamed our entire reality into being. In this telling, the whole cosmos is just the product of a divine mind.
Whoa, but hang on a second. The scientific version of this story is a completely different kind of epic. Forget a dreaming god for a minute and picture this, an unbelievably small, incredibly hot, dense point. Then, about 13.8 billion years ago, boom, a big bang. And in that one flash, all of time, all of space, everything we know is just born. Isn't that wild? 2 completely different origin stories for the same universe we're in right now.
Okay, but what's really cool is how some thinkers tried to build a bridge between these 2 worlds. The philosopher Thomas Aquinas created this amazing logical ladder. Just follow the steps with me. 1. Everything that begins to exist has a cause, right? 2. The universe exists. So 3. The universe must have a cause. But 4. You can't just have causes going back forever and ever. It has to start somewhere, which leads to the big finale, 5. There has to be a first cause that wasn't caused by anything else, an uncaused cause. And that just leaves us hanging with this massive question. Is that uncaused cause the Big Bang singularity? Or is it what those ancient chronicles just called a creation?
And so, that first echo of being, whatever it was, begins to fade, and a new stage is set. We now enter Act 2, the unfolding cosmos. Whether it started as a creator's dream or a singularity's bang, it now expands into this vast physical reality, a stage where entire galaxies can be born and stars can die.
But what if this whole epic story of ours isn't the only one being told? Modern physics has this mind-bending idea of a multiverse. Think of it like an infinite library of universes, and each one has its own story, its own rules. Can you even wrap your head around that? Our entire cosmic chronicle might just be a single book on a shelf with countless others.
And yet, even within our own single story, there lies a deep, deep mystery. The philosopher Immanuel Kant, he suggested that there's a kind of veil between us and what's truly real. We can only experience the world as it appears to our limited senses, what he called phenomena. The world as it actually is, the noumena, well, that might be forever hidden from us.
Just think about what that really means for a second. Are we just watching a shadow play? Is every star, every galaxy we observe just a filtered, watered-down version of a reality our brains can't even process? I mean, that is a seriously mind-bending thought. It changes everything about our cosmic journey.
And now, our story takes its most intimate and maybe its most baffling turn. We journey from the farthest star in the cosmos, right back into ourselves. This is Act 3, the universe within. Because it's here, inside our own minds, that the universe finally wakes up and becomes aware.
So how in the world does that happen? How does a bunch of cells and electricity create the feeling of being you? Well, science has a theory that it's an emergent property, something new that just pops out of complexity. Kind of like how wetness isn't in a single water molecule, but it appears when you have a bunch of them. Then there's this wilder idea from philosophy, panpsychism, that says maybe consciousness is a basic ingredient of all matter. And of course, spiritual traditions often say our little minds are just waves in a giant cosmic ocean of awareness.
In this epic search for the self, one single sentence stands like a mountain. The philosopher René Descartes, he tried to doubt absolutely everything, but then he realized the one thing he couldn't doubt was that he was doubting. The very act of thinking proved he existed. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. It was the one unshakable truth he could hold on to.
And this really shows another great split in how we think about this stuff. On one side, you have the Western scientific view, which often looks inward, trying to map the brain to figure out how it makes that feeling of me. But on the other side, the Eastern philosophical view often looks outward, seeing that very same me as just a temporary illusion. The goal there isn't to understand the self, but to transcend it and reconnect with the whole cosmic flow.
And so, our chronicle reaches what seems to be its final pages, but we don't find an answer. We arrive at an everlasting question, and we realize the story isn't over at all. It's still being told, right now.
You see, the creator, the cosmos, and consciousness, these aren't three separate stories. They're three windows, all looking out onto the same endless landscape. Science gives us the how, philosophy explores the what if, and spirituality searches for the why. Each one is a totally essential voice in telling this one great story of existence.
Which brings us to our final thought. The atoms that make up your body, they were forged in the heart of an ancient exploding star. The awareness that lets you even ponder that fact was born from the very same cosmic process. So maybe you aren't just a reader of this chronicle. Maybe you are the way the story itself becomes aware of its own telling. So let me ask you, is the universe observing itself through your eyes?